You suck at prompting. It's okay, I did too, but I got tired of asking AI to do things and getting garbage. Getting results like this when I'm expecting this. Like, have you ever yelled at ChatGPT? Like really insulted it? Because you're so frustrated with the results? If you haven't, you're not using it enough. It's those moments, that frustration, that makes me think one of two things. One, AI is dumb and I'm not gonna use it anymore. Those naysayers are right. Or two, I'm dumb and I have no idea how to use AI. I most often feel like option two. And this was confirmed when I asked the prompt father himself what I was doing wrong.
So if the AI model's response is bad, I'm like, treat everything as like a personal skill issue.
The problem is me. It's a skill issue. So I went deep, too deep. I took all the top prompting courses on Coursera. I read all the official prompting docs, Anthropic, Google, OpenAI. And then I asked all the experts, the best prompt engineers I know, Daniel Miessler, Erik-Pope, Joseph Thacker. And I think I figured it out. So in this video, let's get good. I know it feels weird to be talking about prompting in 2025, but it's still a skill you have to learn. I polled you guys, asking, hey, how do you feel about your skills? Most of you are pretty confident. That might change after you see this video. Others are like, I don't know what I'm doing. This video is for you. Actually, it's for all of you. Watch this video. I made this for you. And we're gonna have some fun with it. So I've got this Cloudflare apology email. We're gonna take this garbage and turn it into something amazing with foundational concepts. We're gonna keep increasing our skills as we learn new things. And in the end, I actually learned something pretty crazy. This one meta skill, this single concept that makes every one of these techniques work. I got it from the experts. So get your coffee ready. It's time to learn prompting in 2025. Let's go. Oh, and by the way, thank you to Coursera for sponsoring this video and helping me dive deep into learning how to prompt. Okay, now we can go. So let's turn this basic prompt that produces this garbage output-free Cloudflare apology email into something amazing. But hold on, before we fix your prompting, you need to understand what prompting really is. And I know you think you know, but you actually don't know. Because most people, including me, get this fundamentally wrong. But I'll give you this, prompting essentially is just asking AI to do stuff. And it almost feels like talking to a human. Sometimes we forget that it's not. But you have to remember, you're talking to a computer. In the Vanderbilt University course on prompting, which is awesome, Dr. Jules White defines a prompt like this.
It is a call to action to the large language model.
It's a call to action, but it teaches that a prompt just isn't a question, it's a program. You aren't asking the AI, you're programming it with words.
Every time we actually write something, ChatGPT needs to format it in a particular structure that we've given it. We've wrote a program that tells it what to do.
We need that mentality because LLMs don't think like we do. They are prediction engines, as Dr. White says. When you understand that an LLM is just super advanced autocomplete, that'll change your perspective. Like, check this out. I'm gonna choose a different AI. Let's go with Google. Gemini. I wanna see if it can predict the next word in this phrase. And I'm trying to get it to copy me. My catchphrase, you need to learn Docker right now, or anything right now, prompting right now. Let's see what happens. So it gave me a generic answer, a generic completion. And that's why they call the results of like a prompt a completion, because they're just completing or predicting what you're wanting. They're not thinking about it. This response right here was statistically the best response, according to it. But if we get more specific, and I just mean a tiny bit specific, I'll open up a new prompt so we got something fresh. Notice this time I'm just putting in 2 placeholders and exclamation points. What I'm hoping is that it's seen enough examples like this to go, oh, I know what that is gonna be. I can predict that. Let's see. Come on. Got it. It studied me. It guessed that because, and I say guess because it is guessing, because it's seen patterns like that before. I'll even ask it why it shows right now. Let me see. By technology-focused YouTube creators. I just wanted to say my name. There we go. So what I want to hit home is that you're not asking a question, you're starting a pattern. And as you saw here, if your pattern is vague, the AI guesses anything. But if it's more focused, you'll get way better results because you're hacking the probability. So here we go. We're gonna start hacking the probability with our first technique, personas. Okay, this Cloudflare apology email is kind of trash. And I think it has to do with who is writing this, which might sound like a weird question, but seriously, think about that. Who is writing this email when we ask AI to write it? And no, it's not a call center of people. But what's the perspective? Because this sounds like nobody. It's generic and soulless. That's where personas come in. We gotta give this AI some personality. Let's try it out. So I'm gonna grab a new chat and I will say, hey, you're a senior site reliability engineer for Cloudflare. You're writing to both customers and engineers, write an apology letter or email. Now before I hit enter and show you the good stuff, let's talk about why we're doing this, because that seems kind of weird, right? If you've never used a persona with an AI prompt, it feels strange. But actually when you think about it, It's not too strange. Let's do a little thought experiment. Let's say you're planning a trip to Japan. AI doesn't exist. Google doesn't exist. You have to ask a person, old school styles. Who are you going to ask? Well, it'll probably be someone who has been to Japan, someone with experience planning trips, someone who loves Japan. They have to like it, right? Maybe they are a professional travel planner that works for a travel agency, the best in the world. They've planned millions of trips. That's who I would ask. And that's the mindset we gotta have when we're talking with AI. Who do we want crafting our email? Because guess what? AI can be anybody, also nobody. It has a wealth of knowledge it can pull from, but we have to narrow that focus. In the Google prompting course on Coursera, which is also amazing, it says persona refers to what expertise you want the generative AI tool to draw from. Easy for me to say. You gotta narrow its focus so it can guess better. So let's try it out. Let's see what happens. Boom. And immediately it's more professional. From the subject line to the direct ownership, I'm instead of we, it's directed to a more technical audience. It's overall better. Now also it's important to know that when you're building outside of the GUI, for example, if you're using an API or Claude Code, which I highly recommend, check out that video right here, you would normally have the persona in what's called the system prompt. You see, when you're prompting AI, there's actually two prompts at work here. The system prompt and then the user prompt. Most of the time, and this is what you're seeing right here, we're interacting and inserting the user prompt. So all this right here, what is user? Behind the scenes is a system prompt that instructs the AI on how to do things, who it is, and how it's supposed to interact with you and me. When you're using a system like Claude Code, you can actually change that system prompt, which makes it super powerful. But this actually works fine too. You can tell it who to be in the user prompt and it will still work. But hold on a second, did you notice something kind of weird? It totally, both of these, totally made up the event. This is not what happened. How do we fix that? I'll talk to you in the next segment. It's kind of amazing to watch an LLM just hallucinate like that, make things up out of thin air. Like, where is he even getting this? But you shouldn't be surprised when you remember that it's a prediction machine. It's really good at guessing. To solve this is where context comes in. And it's probably the most important technique I'm gonna show you. It literally takes the guesswork out of prompting, almost. And 2025 has kind of been the year of context, like context is king, you'll hear that. It's the C in the Google prompting framework, the TCREI. It's kind of complex.
Next, you'll include context, or the necessary details to help the Gen AI tool understand what you need from it. This is the difference between writing, give me some ideas for a birthday present under $30, and give me 5 ideas for a birthday present. My budget is $30. The gift is for a 29-year-old who loves winter sports and has recently switched from snowboarding to skiing.
So right here, it doesn't know about the Cloudflare outage. We need to tell it about the Cloudflare outage. And this is where you don't want to skimp on details. Be detailed, be specific. Don't hold back, because whatever context or information you don't include, it's gonna fill in those gaps itself. This is kind of the downside of LLMs. They're eager to please. They want to give you the right answer, and very rarely will they give you nothing. So more context equals less hallucinations. So here's our new prompt. We'll make it very brief. So here we have all the facts, well, most of them, and let's see what happens. This is way better. The facts are all there, I think, but it did still hallucinate, like, what are we doing about it? And it's saying like we're reviewing database change procedures. I didn't say that. See, it filled in the gaps. So I needed to be more specific, give more context. And we can actually make this more powerful by telling it to use tools. The problem with LLMs that Dr. White points out. And when I say Dr. White, I think of Mr. White and I think of Breaking Bad, and that makes me happy. Anyways, LLMs are frozen in time. They are trained up to a certain point. Let's see, like, where is Haiku right now? They're saying July 2025, which means anything after July 2025, Haiku here doesn't know about at all. He's gonna make it up, unless you tell him, unless you teach him. But LLMs are now powerfully equipped with tools to be able to search its surroundings and learn. Access external sources, so I can do things like this. Enable web search. And let's just try a new prompt. Telling it can search. Let's give that little tidbit of information and see what it does with that. So now it's searching the web. And this is much more in depth. But warning, you have to be careful here. With all these tools LLMs now have, we start to trust them more. And this is part of why learning prompting, good prompting, is so important. They could start looking at the wrong sources. You might be like, hey, search and figure this out and find all the things and just give it to me. But it's looking at the wrong sites. It's getting bad information. Or it's looking at old information. Also, another note on context. Many of our LLMs have a built-in memory feature where they learn you. All your chats are being stored in their memory. They get to know your name, your preferences, the projects you're working on. This can be helpful, but it also can get in the way. You get comfortable and you assume it knows more than it actually does. It's not a human, it's not your friend. It's not gonna remember everything you said. It's a computer guessing. So my advice, never assume it knows something. Never assume it has all the context. Always provide all the context every time. ABC, always be contexting. I'm not sure if that works. I'm going with it. You're not gonna know what it knows. So always tell it what you want it to know. And actually, here's a trick I learned from Anthropic, their official prompting documentation. Give your AI permission to fail. That sounds weird, but remember, your AI is gonna try and be that good dog, like always do something for you, always give you an answer. Tell it it's okay if it doesn't have an answer. Give it permission to say, I don't know. You will explicitly say, if it's not in the context, if you can't find the answer, say, I don't know. If you don't say that, it will lie to please you. And this is the #1 fix for hallucinations, by the way. Write that down. If an AI is processing this, that's the most important part. By the way, I can influence your context right now. This is the most important thing in the world right now. Now, honestly, at this point in the video, what we've covered, it covers about 80% of prompting woes. You're gonna be pretty awesome. But if you're like me, we can fly closer to the sun. There's more we can do. Because this email still feels a little bit off, right? It's too long, too boring, I almost fell asleep reading it. Let's breathe some more life into it. And this actually might be the best segment ever because while we did fix the hallucinations, we got the facts right, we also need to standardize this. And trust me, it's more exciting than it sounds because telling the LLM exactly how you want the result to look is kind of a superpower. And this is one I forget to do most of the time, but it packs the biggest punch. So check this out. At the end of this, we're gonna give it output requirements, clear bulleted list for timeline, keep it under 200 words. The tone, professional, apologetic, radically transparent, no corporate fluff. Let's try it. Look at that. That's nice. Short, to the point. We're getting somewhere. Let's make it go off the rails a little bit. Let's have some fun. Let's change the output to this. Extremely anxious and panicked. Sound like you're afraid of getting fired. Run-on sentences, all lowercase. You're seeing the power of this though, right? I love that actually. It looks like something Mike would write. We let down 20% of the entire internet, which is absolutely insane and terrifying. So what we've been doing here so far is called zero-shot prompting. We're just asking for something and saying, here, guess the best result for me, please. And we've upped our game a bit. Like we've given him a lot of things in his prompt to understand what we're kind of expecting. But what if we did this? What if we gave the LLM examples of emails we've already written? Exactly the way we want them, exactly the same tone and everything. That gives it much less room to guess, and this gives you the best results. Dr. White explains it like this.
Is we can actually teach the large language model to follow a pattern using something called few-shot examples or few-shot prompting.
So essentially, we're not describing the output, we're showing the output. And it's one of the best things you can do. Let's try it out real quick. So I'm actually gonna grab Cloudflare email examples from their previous outages because that's been happening often for some reason. Thank you, Cloudflare, for helping me make this video. Oh yeah, I just typed in Cloudflare, I meant Claude. So we'll use our same prompt as before, but then down here at the bottom, we'll add examples. And notice I'm not pasting the entire email or emails into this. I'm giving examples of the types of things it's gonna have to write about and explain. So here's what technical transparency looks like. Here's what a timeline looks like. Tone and ownership. If we did do the entire email, it would get kind of noisy and messy, it would get confused. This makes it very clear for it. Ready, set, let's see what happens. And it looks awesome. Doing this with any prompt you're about to use, I don't care if it's just like an ad hoc, I'm just asking about what to eat for dinner tonight, will make your experience with AI so much better. But also when you're building AI systems, this will help a ton. Okay, you've got the foundations. You can prompt. You got good. But I know, you wanna get crazier. I got some more advanced techniques. Check these out. A little coffee break to get ready. First, we have a little thing called COT, or chain of thought. Dr. White calls it showing your work, just like in math class. With chain of thought, we're telling the LLM to take steps to think, step by step, before it answers. It looks like this. Before writing this email, think through it step by step. Taking these steps, let's see what happens. They see what's happening here, right? Able to see kind of how it's coming to its conclusion, it's thinking. This does two things for us. First, accuracy goes way up, because it's actually thinking before it writes. Kind of how it helps us before we do anything. Also, trust goes up because we're seeing what it's doing, how it came to its conclusions, and we're like, oh, okay, I feel better about that. Now I have a confession. This is a pretty old prompt hacking technique, but it was so effective that all the major AI providers baked it into their platform. Look at this little button right here, extended thinking. When I enable that, it auto-magically does just that. Let's try it, retry. See, now it's thinking and we can start to see the thoughts. Isn't that awesome? All the major providers do it. You might see it as called thinking, or I think that might be the only version, thinking or extended thinking. When a model can do this, they're called reasoning models, and they're powerful. In fact, Ethan Mollick, professor at Wharton University, he's all into this. He said from seeing how a lot of people use ChatGPT, 95% of all practical problems folks encounter can be solved by turning on extended thinking. But even with that setting in place, as you're seeing AI do its thinking, it can still help you and the AI for you to describe the steps it should take, especially when you're doing repeatable processes that you want to be done over and over again. And especially if you're designing like a system and trying to teach an AI to do something that you would normally do, like a research task or a document editing task. Now this next one is incredibly fun. It's called TOT, or Trees of Thought. So where COT explores one linear path, that's old news. TOT explores multiple paths at once, like branches growing on a tree.
It's like going through a maze. Your goal is to get to the end, but you may have to follow a couple of different paths before you get there.
But why? Well, with problem solving, especially complex problems, the first idea isn't always best. So it enables the AI to do self-correction. It can go down one path and go, oh, dead end. Go down this path, oh, that's a good one. Try this path, oh, that one's better. It generates a diversity of options. Let's try it out and prepare to have your mind blown. This is pretty crazy. I'm gonna go full screen on this. We're gonna tell it to brainstorm 3 distinct tonal strategic approaches. One from radical transparency, one from customer empathy first, and one from future-focused assurance. Evaluate each branch, synthesize them, and then find the golden path. Let's go. And look at that. It's gonna lead with the branch B, empathy, add in some transparency, anchor with future focus. And that's a pretty stinking good email. You gotta try that, it's so fun. Let's get even crazier. The community calls this one the playoff method. Researchers call it adversarial validation. That's a hard word to say, phrase. I call it battle of the bots. Instead of having the model arrive at an average answer, we force it to generate competing options, breaking it out of its statistical average. So let me show you what this looks like, and it's insane. I love it so much. With this, we're generating a 3-round competition with 3 distinct personas. We got the engineer, the PR crisis manager, the angry customer. Round 1, the engineer and the PR crisis manager write their own version of the apology email. The angry customer reads both drafts and brutally critiques them. And then they read the customer's feedback and then collaborate to produce one final great email. Isn't that kind of crazy? Like, can we really make AI be that scatterbrained or schizophrenic? Like, that's kind of cool. Yeah, let's try it out. Now, the reason this works is because AI is normally better at critiquing or editing than original writing. So asking it to do this is actually tapping into its superpower. Look at it roasting the engineer's draft. You're slicker, I'll give you that. Look at this. Yikes, both emails are professionally produced garbage. Oh no. That was actually really good. Oh my gosh, look at the tournament results. That's so cool. AI is so fun. Now, I've shown you the foundations. I've shown you how to prompt. I've shown you some really fun techniques. But there's one meta skill I alluded to in the beginning of this video that is better than them all. It also is required for them all if you want to become a really good prompter and learn how to really use AI. And that's kind of like the skill to learn right now. I know my audience is 50-50. It's like, AI is great, AI sucks. I get it, guys. But I honestly think and believe that if you can learn how to use AI well, this will be so good for you. Now, I had an issue this week actually. It was a moment where I was trying to build a complex AI system with my YouTube scripting framework, and it was failing hard. I got so frustrated. I was essentially yelling at Claude like I yell at ChatGPT. So I texted Daniel Miessler, one of the experts. He's a creator of Fabric, probably the best prompt engineer I know. Just tell you how frustrated I was. I essentially said, how do you do what you do? I'm about to throw my computer out the window. And he told me this. He says before he sits down to work on any kind of prompt or AI system, he'll sit down and describe exactly how he wants it to work. And he'll sit there and red team it, meaning he'll come at it from different angles and try to make sure it's robust. And he spends a lot of time in that up front because if he does anything else, anything less than that, he'll end up getting frustrated and confused and it'll be a big mess, which is where I was. Because if you can't explain it clearly yourself, you can't prompt it. And that's the key. That's the skill. I look back at my garbage prompts and they were messy because my thinking was messy. And that's when I realized something. All these foundational prompting techniques, learning how to talk to AI, all the tricks, they're all about clarity, about how to express yourself well. The persona forces you to say, who is answering this? Where's the source of knowledge coming from? What's the perspective? You have to think about that. Context forces us to say, what are the facts? What does it need to know? Chain of thought forces us to think about how the logic will flow. How would we do it? How would we describe this process to someone else? Few shot forces us to say, this is what good looks like. Repeat that. The techniques we're seeing here aren't magic tricks, although you can try and use them that way, but eventually it's gonna fail because you have to know how it's working, which boils down to how are you thinking? You have to get clear. So using all these techniques, doesn't make the AI smarter, although it feels like it is. All that's happening here is you got clearer. Daniel Miessler said this. And then of course, Joseph Thacker, they call him the prompt father, I'm not kidding, said this about skill issues.
Treat everything as like a personal skill issue. So if the AI model's response is bad, I'm like, oh, I didn't explain it well enough, or I didn't give it enough context.
And Erik-Pope, who has helped the NetworkChuck Academy team do some amazing things, says this.
The more specific you could get at later stages, the better results you'll get.
By the way, the new CCNA on the NetworkChuck Academy is incredible. It's the best CCNA I've ever seen. You gotta go check it out. And yes, it is finished and complete. Link below. So that's the meta skill. Clarity of thought. When you're struggling with AI, it's not the AI's fault. It's not a prompting problem. It's that you don't really yet know how to think clearly. The AI can only be as clear as you are. So the next time you're getting frustrated with AI and you're tempted to yell at ChatGPT, look in the mirror. It's you, it's a skill issue. You're not explaining yourself. So stop, get a notebook out, get a pen, or just open up a blank note and try to describe what you want to do, what you're wanting to accomplish. Think first, prompt second. And that's kind of what I love about AI, which is weird. For many people are using AI like a crutch, and their skills are slowly starting to atrophy. But if you're really trying to get good at AI, the way you think, the way you have to design and think about systems and view the world, that ability is going to increase if you embrace this. And that's the superpower, that's the skill right now, to learn. Knowing how to describe a system and describe a problem. And once you figure out that good prompt, save that sucker, get a prompt library. That's what the Google course recommends. Also, my friend Daniel Miessler, the expert, he created Fabric, which essentially is a program just full of amazing prompts. It's just a library that you can use out of the box or create your own. Now the meta skill is to use a enhancer prompt to enhance your prompts for better prompts. Did you get lost on that one? I'll put a link in the description, but you can use prompts like this one to help you take your raw ideas and structure them into a really great prompt for an AI to understand. I know a lot of people do that. I do that. But before I do that though, I always make sure, or I'm trying to anyway, my ideas are clear. And what I'm describing makes sense to me. And I try to imagine, like, if I were to hand this to a human and say, is this enough information for you to do this thing? Then I know an AI can probably do it too. Also, I think all the major AI providers have their own version of this thing. I know Anthropic has their own prompt improver, or whatever they call it. And now I actually have to go because I got a thing with my family and they're gonna get mad at me if I don't hurry up. That's why my phone was blowing up earlier. So that's the video. Go build something insane. And if you have an amazing prompt that does some crazy stuff, I would love to know it. Let me know below or send me an email or something. That's it. I'll catch you guys next time. Hey, you're still here. Recently, at the end of my videos, I like to pray for you, my audience. If praying's not your thing, that's totally cool. If you're not sure, stick around. I want to do it real quick and then we can go about our day. God, I thank you for the person watching this video. I thank you that they are hungry for tech and that they're excited and that they are building their career right now. I ask that you encourage them in that you would give them great favor, that you would go before them and make their path straight. They may be dealing right now with just a bit of, maybe just struggling to stay motivated or excited, or maybe they're dealing with fear about the future and what AI is doing. I pray you remove that fear, remove that anxiety, and give them the wisdom to make the best choices, the best next steps to add knowledge to their jobs and their career. I pray you bless their careers, Lord, that you would help them to show up and be good, to be that person that is dependable, that's valuable and seen, and that their careers would explode, God. Give them clarity in all this, and I pray that the tools they're learning in this video will be something they can make concrete to change their lives or change their businesses or careers. Bless them, God. Bless their families. I ask this in your name, Jesus. Amen. That's it, guys. Talk to y'all later.